One of Donald Trump's campaign promises has just imploded as real people get a real devastating look at what Trump's presidency is really going to be like. Yesterday, the Carrier Corporation released a letter stating that 632 workers would be fired from its Indianapolis factory, and those jobs would be moving to Mexico by the end of the year. Yep, you heard that correctly. Trump is a job killer. And just a few months ago, Trump jumped on the opportunity to save the Indianapolis plant and save over 1,000 jobs, grabbing a whole bunch of headlines at the time. Of course, it was all lies because 550 jobs were already going to Mexico. Chuck Jones, the president of United Steelworkers Local 1999, the union that represents Carrier's Indianapolis plant, said that Trump had lied his ass off. And he added, quote, "I almost threw up in my mouth. It really pissed me off that he misled people their jobs might be saved. He didn't want to get up and tell people part of the plant is going to stay and part of the plant is going to Mexico." Yesterday, we saw even more proof with Carrier's most recent announcement. And in an interview with Raw Story, Jones stated that he's still highly upset at Trump, who he says misled people into thinking he would save jobs in Indianapolis. But Jones says it best himself with this quote, "I didn't trust Trump when he was running, playing on working class hopes. This guy who has businesses in other countries and wraps himself in the American flag. Sad thing is that people bought into it then when he was a candidate. Some working class people still buy into it. They're stupid. Trump is the Titanic, the greatest ship ever, and it sunk. He said he's going to save this country, and if he keeps going like he has, he's going to sink this country." Steelworker President Chuck Jones always reminds me of that hard-scrabble, tough as nails, but smart as a whip dad in the movie Wall Street. He's the one who's always calling Gordon Gekko on his bullshit. You know, the Wall Street broker and virtual capitalist played here in this situation by Donald Trump. And just like Chuck Jones has always been constantly calling Trump to the mat, exposing him as a schemer and who's taking advantage of the American people and lying to his fellow union members. You know he's doing a good job of it too, because Trump has called out Chuck personally by name on Twitter, saying, "Chuck Jones, who is president of United Steelworkers 1999, has done a terrible blah, 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 blah." Bravo, Chuck Jones. With reactions from Trump like that, we all know you're doing a hell of a job in resisting the Trump regime. So keep giving him hell and telling us the truth. But Chuck's not the only one who's got something to say in this situation. Robert James, an employee at the Indianapolis plant, called the job losses devastating. And he said, quote, "It's going to be hard for them. You don't replace jobs $25 an hour like at Carrier and Rexnord. They got warehouse jobs paying $10 to $12 an hour. This is going to do damage to families, cause unnecessary stress and strain. And I don't think the president is going to be of any help to the workers. Things like he's proposing, like healthcare, are going to hurt them and their families. I don't think Trump cares at all about workers." Then James gave this brutal criticism of Trump and his daughter Ivanka, pointing out that they don't even practice what they preach. He said, quote, "If he really wanted to help workers, why doesn't he start with bringing his own jobs back to the United States? His daughter and son-in-law all got jobs overseas where they pay people $60 a week or less. It's a tragedy where all these companies go overseas and abuse people." And once again, Trump has tricked our fellow Americans and failed to deliver on one of his promises. But everyone in our country will eventually have to pay the price for Trump's deceptions and Trump's lies. I'm Ryan Clayton. This is Content News. Come back daily for the news where we're free to share the truth.